Why on earth would anybody call a house the House of the Blackheads? Well, it's interesting. If you go into the house, you will see many sculptures and paintings of Africans, and even next to the gate, one of the images on the front gate is a black man. Okay, that's wonderful, but what's the story? He was Mauricio, or Moritz, and he was a military leader about the 4th century or so, and this man was very venerated for his courage and for fighting on behalf of the church, and he was brave and all of these wonderful things. And then when he died, he was canonized and actually turned into a saint. So he was a warrior who became a saint. And there was a group of merchants, German merchants, who were coming back and forth here. They were part of the Hanseatic Union, which is a group of cities along great bodies of water in Northern Europe. And they built this house, and they had a patron saint, and they adopted Maurizio as their patron saint. And so they called it the House of the Blackheads, in honor of this great and courageous man. Now, you can see it's ornate, tremendous clock. It's just unbelievable. And there are sculptures up there. Most of them are of Greek mythology. There's a sculpture of St. George and the Dragon. There are inscriptions in Latin. There's all sorts of symbolism here. And in the 13th, 14th, 15th century, Chamber of Commerce of Riga. It's the place where they did business. But most of the traders, the German traders, they were merchants, and they were single. So one could say they did business by day and they did pleasure by night. So this was a party place and this was a business place.
The coat of arms of the Brotherhood of the Blackheads, it's an interesting coat of arms. It features 3 black men, whereas most coats of arms feature lions and bears and eagles, whereas this one is 3 black men, clearly from the center of Africa. However, the exact term for blackheads is unknown. The patron saint, who I imagine is one of the 3 men on the coat of arms, or maybe it's the same person, was the black Egyptian Christian, Saint Maurice. I think he's the person whose head appears on the shield. I think it's the same person at the top of the coat of arms, but I could be wrong. Saint Maurice is an interesting character, actually. He was born in Egypt, so he's Egyptian, in the city of Thebes, and he commanded a legion. As he progressed through life, he climbed up the Roman ranks, and he commanded a legion of 1,000 soldiers called the Thebians, or Thabians, the Thebes. I'm not sure I'm saying that correctly, but let's come back to that in a moment. Notice how Egyptians back in the day looked more like Central Africans rather than the Egyptians we know today, because of course this was long before the Arab conquest of North Africa. So generally Egyptians back then were very black. Not all of them, but a lot of them, has to be said. It is even documented that many Egyptians were very Mediterranean looking, not in the same way that they look today. The Egyptians of today are so far unrelated to the Egyptians of 1800 to 2000 years ago. A lot's changed since then. But going back to Saint Maurice and his achievements, he commanded a legion of 1,000 soldiers. He was born 250 years AD. What makes him the saint that he is, he was a Christian before Christianity was really acceptable. 250 years after Christ, Christianity was still in its infancy, and the fact that this man commanded a legion of 1,000 soldiers, all Christians, and also in the Roman army, as Christianity was considered a threat to the Roman Empire. Yet, Saint Maurice and his legion moved easily within pagan society. That was until Maurice and the Theban Christian legion were sent by Maximian the Roman Caesar of the time, who lived between 286 and 305 AD. He sent Maurice and his legion to what is now present-day Switzerland. He was ordered by Maximian to harass some local Christians. Maurice and his legion refused. Maximian ordered the punishment of the legion by executing every 10th soldier. This punishment was known as decimation. Decimation is a form of Roman military discipline in which the 10th man of every group is executed by members of his cohort. The discipline was used by senior commanders in the Roman army to punish units. Back in the day, the Roman army used this punishment on large units of groups guilty of capital offences such as cowardice, mutiny and desertion. But in this case, Maximian used the punishment on Maurice's legion for their refusal to harass and possibly execute fellow Christians. The Theban Christians refused to attack their fellow Christians in what is known as the Great St. Bernard Pass in a little place called Aganon, which is now called St. Maurice. And in St. Maurice, there is an abbey dedicated to this man, St. Maurice. St. Maurice's legion and himself were all martyrs to Christianity. It is said that the legion refused to harass the innocent Christians that inhabited the town. So the Emperor Caesar Maximian ordered Maurice and his men to be sacrificed to the Roman gods, hence a Christian martyr of the time, and a noble man.